is our butterfly paper ornament. I've got a little wooden disc here and a beautiful little postcard with Santa. And then I found these thrifting. These are just some little doilies, and they're very vintagey looking to me. Here's the information, just in case you have something simpler or similar. Not simpler, good grief. Although, speaking of simple, you could use white doilies for this if you wanted to, or if you had gold doilies that are solid color, or, you know, whatever you wanted to do. I just loved the idea of having these beautiful, rich colors in a butterfly, right? And I started off to do this just as a round, but y'all, something beautiful happened, right? Just like butterflies emerge from a cocoon. Watch how this thing turns out. I cannot even believe it. So I'm just going to fold these. You remember when we were in school and we were young and we folded these little fans all the times with our paper? All the time, because we didn't have air conditioning in our classrooms, did we? No. Kids today, they have it all. We didn't have that. We had windows and hot air blowing in, right? If you were lucky to sit by a window. If you were lucky. Okay, so I'm just pleating this. I'm folding it over on itself back and forth, trying to get my lines fairly the same size. Now, this is 2 doilies now. I have stacked these together. These are 2 together. I didn't move them. They came out of the pack like that, and I left them that way. This way we'll get the same size when we open them up. Okay? Now, we can kind of open the little pleat here. You see how it looks? And we can pull those 2 layers apart. When you do it this way, you get exactly the same size and the same folds, so it is equal when you put these 2 together. I am going to use my hands to grab it in the middle, just like this. I'm going to clamp it until I can get my hole punch out. There's my little hole punch, and a little bit of string. You can use any kind of string or cord you want. You won't really be able to see it. Now, when I fold it in half, that gives me an idea of where center is, so I can poke a hole on here. And I actually did not get this exactly centered. This is another one of those things where I looked up and did something wrong that turned out right. So I'm going to feed this right through where I made the hole. And I'm going to tie this in a double knot. Don't tie too tight or you'll tear your paper. And we'll trim off what we don't need now. And by the way, you see the red on my fingers? I don't have sores or cuts on my fingers except for, you know, where you see when I have a Band-Aid on. That is actually red paint. That's spray paint. Later on in the video, you're going to see some things that I'm going to be spray painting. So that's what that is. Nobody be alarmed. Okay, so when I start to pull this apart, I realize because I didn't use a square, it's not going to be a circle. But look what happens. Oh my goodness, it's a butterfly. You can't imagine how surprised I was when that happened. Alright, so I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue, but you use whatever type of adhesive you want to use here. The hot glue is going to grab it tightly, but you got to be super careful not to burn your fingers. Really protect your hands. I was moving too fast this day to actually follow my own rules, y'all. But I was so excited to get this video out for y'all because the ones I did last year were so well received. I thought, yeah, we're going to do this, definitely do this again. And I love the Victorian decor. Oh, y'all look at this butterfly. She's a beaut. And then I'm going to extend the length of it a little bit by doing the top just a tad and the bottom just a tad. Just where the fold ends. Look at that. So now I'm going to cut out a section to make a little ornament to go right in the middle. And I'm going to use a pen just to mark around, and then I will go right in the inside so you don't see my pen marks and make a circle. Sharp scissors are important. I have used these poor things so much I need to sharpen them. How do you sharpen your scissors? What do y'all do to sharpen yours? Do you use the tinfoil trick or the sandpaper trick, or do you actually have like a little tool that you sharpen with? I would love to know because it would help me a lot. Alright, so I'm going to go around and around and around and around here. Try not to burn my hands. just tiny bit of glue to put this down. If you've got the time to use glue or Mod Podge, you can certainly do that. And then just to get my circle nice and smooth, I want to set that scissor right on the edge of the wood and cut around it. This will give me the perfect smoothness that I'm looking for. You could always sand this if you wanted to. If you don't have small scissors, go ahead and sand it. I do this a lot. I'm going to grab Mod Podge and some of this Reflections, I think it says Midnight or Twilight glitter. It's a very fine black metallic, and I thought it looked so pretty with the colors on the butterfly. So we're going to trim this out with that. I'm going to grab that Mod Podge, go all around here, and let it even overlap onto the picture just a little bit. And that way it'll kind of be framed out a little. But remember, wherever you put the glue is where the glitter is going to stay. So just try to clean it up. I made a little smear in one area that I try to fix, but you know, it's not that big of a deal. It's still there, but I'm probably the only person in the world who would notice it. You know how we are about our own crafts. We critique ourselves pretty roughly sometimes. All right, so I'm going to tap it off. I'll save the rest. Now you can always put that back in the jar. Look how beautiful that black glitter is. It's so fine and pretty. It's going to look so nice on that butterfly. So now this is just a dry brush, and I'm going to use it just to kind of clean up a little bit to get all that extra glitter off there and make it go out to these sides. You see me trying to clean it up. Whee, butterfly. Okay, so we're going to take this piece of wire, and I just get these wires on a paddle. I have silver, I have green, I have a matte green. You know, we use these with floral arrangements and for all kinds of things actually, but they're great to make your own hooks for ornaments too. So we're going to make our own hook, but we're also going to use this wire to add a little stability to our butterfly. I'm going to feed it through underneath that little piece of twine that we used to put it together. I'm going to feed it down one of the bottom wings and then just tape it on. Then I'll tape it on the top little section here too, so everything stays in place. If you put it right at the top, the weight of Santa is going to pull that forward. So in order to keep from doing that, we need to have a wire where we can flex it a little bit so that it will stand out straight when you put it on your tree. Because this is going to be a beautiful ornament for a tree. What a lovely, just statement ornament. Y'all, it's so pretty. You could add glitter on this too as well if you wanted to, but I wanted it just here on Santa. I'm going to add some hot glue. Set him right in the middle of the butterfly. Y'all look at that. Would y'all just look at that? Obsessed is not even, that's not even the best word to use for it. I don't even know what you would call it. It's so pretty, and I did surprise myself. Look at him flying. Look at my little butterfly flying. I was even playing with it. Look at here. Here she goes, and there it goes, flying off to Christmas. The next is going to be our sleigh arrangement. We're going to use another one of those little postcards, a different one. I have a scrap of paper. I'm going to use foam blocks. This beautiful sleigh that I found at the thrift store. Look at this beauty. I'm not even going to do anything with it other than clean it up a little bit on the inside. Double stick tape, a berry pick. We're going to cut it up. We're going to cut this one up, this one, and then the one on the bottom. These are 3 different types of evergreen that we're using. I'm going to start by deciding where I want my foam pieces to go. I know that it's going to take about 1 1/4 or 1 1/3 there. So I'm just going to cut those pieces to fit down on the inside. Y'all, I am working on getting out the rest of the boxes. Can you believe it? We ran out of prizes. My husband went and picked up some more things from Harbor Freight, and we are getting ready to get the rest of the boxes out to y'all. So if I've announced you as the winner and you haven't gotten it, it's coming. And I still have a couple of winners to announce, so I'll be drawing those and getting those out very soon. All right, double stick tape. We're going to put on the back of here. I don't know what size this is going to be yet, so I'm just going to eyeball it and see how much of a frame I want with this piece of scrapbook paper. This is just cardstock in the back. I'm going to push it down, then I'll use my little tool here, and I will go over it to make sure it's burnished down and it doesn't come apart. Perfect. Then I'm just going to take my little tool. I've had this thing for a while now. It's just a little pendulum cutter. It's good for little things, but it won't do big paper. You know, it's not big enough. I'm just going to trim it down. Now I've got my perfect size. I didn't have to use my scissors or a ruler, and it's perfect. We're going to make a pick or sign to go in the beautiful arrangement display. So I'm going to use just a thin craft stick. I'm going to stick it down in some hot glue. I'm going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth over here. And then I am going to add another little scrap of that same paper to give it a very nice clean finish on the back. So when you see it from the other side, it's nice and neat. How about that? Now we're going to start putting down all of that beautiful evergreen greenery. You can see what I'm doing here. This is how I'm going to arrange it. Now, arrange it, rather. If you don't have one of these, I think, unless your Dollar Tree is out, if you picked up any of those little plastic sleds from Dollar Tree, you could certainly paint your sled a white color, maybe do some painting on it, or make some designs with a glue gun and then brush over it with a little bit of gold, and you could make your own sled. But certainly if you have a sled in your decor that you haven't used in years, get that thing out, make something beautiful with it. I'm going to cut down all these pieces. I love that the greenery is giving those old vibes. It's giving that beautiful woodland look that I love so much. And I think it matches a lot of what's going on in the card over there. And plus, you know, I just love greenery in general. I have went through so much greenery this year. So much. And after I use it, if I don't keep the arrangements or give them away, I pull them out and I donate them back, because I get most of my greenery at the thrift store. So, I mean, I'll turn around and give it back, and then somebody else will be excited about finding it. You know, nothing wrong with that. I've done all I could for it. It's time to go back. All right, so I'm just adding these here and there. I'm trying to mimic what I do on the left with what I do on the right. What I am doing in the front, I will keep a little bit shorter than what is going on in the back. This is going to be a squatty low arrangement. Nothing high in this, nothing like that. Squatty and low. I'll be showing you from here to, you know, time to time here, like I have been. I'll pick it up and let you see the shape of this arrangement. Very wild, very woodland, and I absolutely love it. You could use hollies. If you wanted to use some flowers, you could use some chrysanthemums in here. You could use poinsettias in here. You know, really whatever you like. So once I get it done on the top, you know, I start looking around the sides, and I'm going to be adding in some of the red berries on the sides as well. And what I have left is the middle top of that berry pick. And then I will use that to put down in that middle spot. You see the little empty spot there? I'm going to grab this. I'm going to give it a little bit of a fluff and place it right in that spot. How gorgeous. Look at the berries falling all over the table. You know I saved those berries right. I sure did. I got a little bowl on the side and I stuck them all in there. So you see the style of this arrangement? Love it. It's beautiful. You put it in the middle of your table, everybody can see around it. So you could use this as decor anywhere in your house, but you could certainly use this as a centerpiece if you would like. Now here's that beautiful card. Oh yes. Santa, you're bringing me woodland vibes. You definitely are. All the woodland vibes. Here's the beautiful surprise butterfly ornament with Santa. Very Victorian. If you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe and to hang out with us and check out all the unique, budget-friendly DIYs that we do here on this channel. Hit the bell so you don't miss any notifications. Okay, on to the next project. I have got some of this tinsel that came off of a Dollar Tree something. I got some beads. I got some vintage trim. I've got a little bead ball, and we're going to use the same greenery that we used on the other project. And this is the Christmas card. Little Santa card, and this is a Tart pan. This came from Goodwill. I found 2 of them. Can't wait to use the other one. So I'm just going to cut it apart, trim off the little hanger part just so that it is Almost looks like it's supposed to be round. I don't want to leave a flat spot on there. Make it look nice. And then I'm gonna cut down a length of my ribbon, or my ruffle trim, whatever you want to call it. And this is white and gold. So one project that I'm gonna do is gonna be like completely silver and white, and then this one is going to be more of a gold theme, just in case you like the gold more. So I'm just going around with the hot glue, and because this is a metal pan, you got to work quick or the glue will cool off too fast and you won't get any grip on your fabric. So I'm going to go around like this, just using my silicone protectors on my fingers to push it into the corners so that it somewhat keeps the shape or follows the shape of that star. Just like that. So a quick question while this is going on. Did any of you guys have parents or grandparents that decorated a tree in this style? This is not something that you really see anymore, except on Pinterest. I don't see other people doing this style, so I'm just wondering, do you remember this? What are your memories of Christmases when you were a child? Because I think this is really cool. You know, the silver and the gold, and it's a little too much for my rustic taste, but doing the projects is so much fun. There's so many layers to it. It's just it's a type of richness, I guess, that I feel doing these projects. Plush. Just, I love it. So we got metal, we got ribbon, we've got this tinsel wrap that I pulled off. I think it was a Dollar Tree stocking ornament, but I saved it. So going around here, I'm just getting the right amount to go around that circular card, and then I'm going to start wrapping it almost like a wreath, just to bulk it up a little bit. And I'm just going to cut some more pieces and go around until I get it as thick as I think I want it. And making sure that all those ends are tucked under so that you don't have any little pieces sticking out. You want this to have a nice finished look. So just press them into the form. And then we'll be placing it right down on top. Just going to add the hot glue. You can use a cool temperature glue if you would like on these projects, because you're going to be touching a lot and a lot of small things. You do not want to burn yourself. So I'm going to put a glop of glue down there and put this little bead. I don't know what this is, like a beaded ball. I think it was on a Mardi Gras necklace, maybe. All right, so I'm just going to add a little bit greenery in there. And then again on the other side. And I know that I want to put a bow on the top of the star. I found with doing these types of projects, if you think you've gone too far, just take it one more step and then you can quit, right? Yeah. So I'm just going to put this right on the top just to add a little more gold to it. And you know, you could, if you have a star that you want to use, you could spray paint it. You could do whatever you would like. But since I'm using hot glue in here, I can always take this apart and use this project for this Tart pan for another project. And I like that. I like that about hot glue. As long as it's not Gorilla Glue, because that stuff is permanent. Okay, so I'm going to make a little rosette now. I'm going to take some of that same red ribbon that we used before. I'm going to place it in the middle of the button. Just the red part, leaving that gold trim toward the top. Now I'm going to turn, make a little gather, and add a little more glue each time. You don't want to use too much glue because your bow will be too bulky. It'll get really tall instead of wide, and we don't want that to happen. We don't want it to look like a pine cone, in other words. We want it to look like a flower. And we want to have enough room that I can drop a bead down in the middle of there, so the size of my finger with that protector is the perfect size. Plus, being able to get my finger on the inside like that helps me to press it down and hold it in place until the glue does its job. So here's our little rosette. I'm just pinching it down really hard to make sure it doesn't come undone. And then there, drop a little pearl right in the middle of it. Look at that beautiful little flower. I'm gonna put some hot glue back there and put it right there. I think it's cute. What do you think about that little flower? You can do that with any type of like a curved trim. You can do that. So I'm adding some more leaves there. And then I'm going to tack down my ribbon on the sides just a little bit. Both sides, straightening out the ribbon. It's not wired, so it's kind of floppy. And then I'm just going to cut the ends off in a slant. All right, we're going to make a hanger out of that same tinsel. If I would have had like a gray tinsel, I would have used that one instead, like a silverish gray, but this is what I had. It was white, and then I had some red, but I thought this one looked better. Smoking hot glue. And then I'm going to add just a little piece of ribbon over the top just to hold it in place. All right, and I decided I wanted to add some candy on there. So I've cut apart a pick that I already had with little pieces of candy, and I put a peppermint, a little, looks like a gumball maybe, and then a little packaged candy and one pearl right there. And I'm going to add another pearl over here, and there it is. Santa charm is next. We're going to use some wood tint and walnut, I do believe. Brushes, sponge brush and regular brush. I'm going to use some more of the same gold paint because we're not going to go spend extra money. These are some holly leaves and berries I thrifted. You could probably find something similar at Dollar Tree. Some good sharp cutting scissors, some foam block adhesives, stickers, a card or a postcard. I can link where I got mine from for you. And then this wood piece I got from Temu. I will link that as well. I have a lot of links. These are the measurements on here. I bought wood pieces from Temu before, and they are wonderful. They are wonderful. Absolutely love them. So we're going to apply first all of that wood tint. This is not an antiquing wax. It's an actual tint, or it's like a stain, but it's washable, so you can get it off of your hands. You don't destroy your surface, which makes it fantastic. It has a little bit of a smell, but it's nothing terrible. Yeah, it's nothing terrible. So I'm going to go over this. I'm going to use this long, stiff type chippy brush because it can get down in all those little cracks and surfaces. If you can't get in all those areas with the brush that you choose, go back in with another brush that's a little bit smaller to get in all those areas on the inside. I'm going to do the whole entire surface, and then if you want to do your back, you can. We're going to wipe back the excess according to the time given on the bottle. So you apply it, you wait a certain amount of time, and then you're going to grab a cloth, and I just have some canvas here that I have torn into pieces for craft projects. And I'm going to wipe back all of the excess that's on there. No need to dig, no need to get down in all the cracks, because the purpose is for the darker areas to stay in the darker areas. Would you look at the difference in this piece of wood than how it started? Oh my goodness, it's absolutely stunning. I'm going to go ahead and hit this with a little bit of heat just to help dry it and get it a little quicker, get it dried quickly. And you can see the color change, pretty much while you're doing this. It's going to get a little bit lighter. I'm just spinning this around as I'm putting a stream of heat on it and turning it. And the difference, the difference. It looks so pretty to me. It just, that. I also have a gray wood tint, but the walnut is my go-to, definitely, because I love that darkness. I think it's great for Victorian. So we're going to use the same thing here. We're going to grab that brush, and we're going to dip it in a little bit of that gold, and I just kind of push it up into the bristles by popping it up and down, and then start dragging it all over the piece. So the lighter areas that are on here that we wiped back a little bit of that color is going to catch hold of that gold and give you a very subtle gold look on top of this. If you like it heavier, then use a heavier hand. But I think it is perfect just like this. That looks beautifully aged. Yes, aged with grace. All right, so I'm going to take my little card, and you can get cards at Dollar Tree. I think some cards at Dollar Tree are like 50 cents. And I'm going to cut my Santa out. I have two that are very similar to the same card, so I will use the other card in another project. But for this particular one, I love the idea that his hand is kind of holding outward, like he's reaching for the phone, because we're going to do something special with that. So be sure that you are using good scissors. Take your time and cut your pieces out. This was a really easy one because it didn't have a lot of detail around Santa to have to whittle with, so I didn't even have to get my tiny scissors out. Another way to sort of antique or age your pictures is to use a little bit of that same little wood stain. I'm going to use it on a foam brush if you don't have a finger dauber, and I'm going to go all around Santa, roll it around, and it makes like a little outline around the edges. It makes it really pop. Cards and cardstock and these printed pieces are done on paper, and it's usually right on the surface, so you can see white on the outside, which kind of, it takes away from the aged look, I think. So we're going to add that back just like that. I'm going to put him aside and let him dry, of course. And then I'll use my little foam sticker. The foam sticker is to give it a little elevation off of the plaque that we're going to put it on. And it just gives it a little more dimension and shadow. And I've always enjoyed that look. If you've watched my videos, you know I use these things a lot. If you don't have these little stickers, you can use something like one of those cheap Dollar Tree toy blocks, like the little Jenga blocks, the knockoff. You can use that, and that'll work great for you too. And that's how he looks, standing there looking all so proud. I have some of this that's vintage, and then I found this at Walmart a couple years ago. It is not vintage, but it is like a replica. It is so good. I'm going to only use the gold. If you wanted to use all the colors, you can. Y'all have to excuse the lighting here. The sun was going down, so I wasn't aware when I was doing it that it was different. So, yeah. Now I've got my light on, my window closed. We're good. I'm going to make a little hanger for this. You don't even have to have a hanger if you don't want to. If you want to put this on a tree branch, you can just put it right on the branch. Excuse me. So I'm going to just put this through that loop in the top and pull that through, and that's going to give us a little hanger that we can put on our tree, or we can make it longer, and it can be a charm that you can hang off of a bottle. You can hang off of your hook if you bought those during the time when farmhouse was really big. If you have those boards, like a hanging board that has the pegs on it, this would be really cute there too. You can hang it in your kitchen or just wherever you like. These are wired, so I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue, and I spread those out just a little bit, and I'm going to put it right to the back of the card to hold it up to his hand, almost looking like he's holding that holly in his hand. How adorable. And then, just to balance it out, I thought maybe I would put some down here on the ground behind him, so I'll add hot glue and just glue that right down to the bottom part. And if you get glue strings, just get your strings off there, make it look nice and pretty. Yep, I like the way that looks. Simple enough, easy to do, very elegant and old world, Victorian. It's just beautiful. I love this. Thrifted red Santa. I've got two different types of ribbon to choose from, both from Dollar Tree and red. A foam block, a basket of any type. This is my little frosty hat. This is a thrifted piece of candle ring, and some small ornaments. I'm also going to be using a pick from some florals. Now, the first thing you need to do when you thrift anything is to give it a good cleaning, brushing, look for anything that needs to be repaired, fix it. I'm going to take the hanger off of here, adjust all these little tinsely branches that are on the tree to make them look in order and in shape. And then I'm going to also work on the front of this little hat basket by kind of zhuzhing around my greenery and then taking off the little silk pieces. We're going to add some more into it later that look a little better. A little tip for you, if you're using any type of a basket, if you have sort of a soft but stiff brush, you can use that to clean things. This vacuuming is one thing, but using a little brush will help get all the dust out of the little cracks. So any little scratches on here, which there's a little bit of damage where the paint is chipped off, I'm just going to go over it with the marker, or you could use some black paint. I'm going to trim down that foam where it will fit into the top and just push it in. Now I'll take the remaining pieces or the scraps and just push them in all around here. This is going to make a little platform for us. We'll be able to attach any greenery into it, and we'll also be able to use it so that Santa has a place to stand. So what you see me using is greenery that I have had for a while now. I get most of my greenery from the Goodwill bins. Thankfully, there are people who donate rather than throwing that stuff in the trash, and I love to have it. So it works out for me greatly. So I'm just going to sort of center that candle ring in the middle, and then I'm going to take those pieces of evergreen and go around like in an X shape, or a north, south, east, and west kind of shape. Rather than gluing this down with hot glue, I am using these floral pins to keep them in place. If you don't have floral pins, you can use scrap pieces of floral, like the little greenery branches that you might cut your flowers off of. You can just bend those like a bobby pin, and you can just push those down in there and it will hold it in place. Now this little piece was sort of broken on its stem, so I'm just gluing it to the piece around it so it will stand up and be nice and pretty. Now the opening in there is perfect to stand Santa in, so I'm just going to stand him up in the middle, see where I would like him to be positioned, keeping in mind the front of my basket so that everything's facing the right direction. And then I'm going to use some more of those pins to just put around his boot and into the foam. And this way, if I choose to use him again on something else, I can take him off with no damage at all. Now I'm going to start putting on any other little pieces that I think would look good in here to give it that beautiful, rich woodland look that we are all loving so much this year. Some of these little pieces of branch have snow on those, and some of them have pine cones, some do not. It's going to give it some variety. I am not looking for a symmetrical arrangement for this piece, so it's just going to be here and there depending on what I feel like looks good, you know, to me at the time. And I recommend that you do the same thing when you do yours. Make it your own and do it on a budget, right? That's what we do on this channel. Okay, so now I'm just going to take some pieces again of that same thing. I've cut these into smaller pieces that I can put here and there, and then I glue them in place just to give it a little more richness and a little more, I don't know, there's something about the woods and the forest that's just so comforting to me any time of year. It's just beautiful, and the sounds and the smells, it's a gorgeous thing, right? It's a gorgeous thing. So I like to embellish with that as much as I can because it's peaceful and comforting to me. It brings me joy. If you prefer not to use as much greenery, you certainly do not have to. You can do some little ornaments. You could do anything you like, really. You could cover this entire thing in little ornaments if you wanted. So now the front of this little basket hat looks nice and lush like the top. Now I'm going to make one little pick, and I'll show you how to do that. So I'll just take this one piece that I've already taken all the florals off of. I'll take 3 ornaments, and I'm just going to do a green, a white, and a red. Pull off the little caps and hangers, and they'll fit over the ends of these. All you have to do is add some hot glue. Yes, I know those are the 3 I want because I like them staggered like that. So I can cut the other pieces off because we won't need those, and I don't want them to be on there and in the way, so we will cut those off in a moment. You can add some hot glue on the stem and then just push it straight down into there. It'll rest on the bottom of the ornament, and the glue will dry, and you'll have a beautiful little pick with ornaments on it. Or if you prefer, you can just put some glue on your ornament and poke it down in your florals. Now that's looking much better. I know I want to put a bow on here, so I'm going to take this red satin ribbon and just make a very simple shoelace bow. I like this color red with this arrangement because of the berries that are in that candle ring that are on the top where Santa is standing. You can certainly mix your reds though if you would like. So this arrangement is sort of a traditional, sort of a woodland. I don't know exactly how you would. I would like to say that I can't exactly put my creations into a box. It's a little bit of everything, right? But that's just how I like it. All right, so I'm going to trim this down just a little because I don't need that much length. And then I will poke it down in there beside Santa. And look at that. This brings me joy. And I hope that it brings you some joy too. Yes. The next is going to be a Santa lantern. Okay, y'all, so here's my other Santa. This is a lantern that I thrifted. Isn't it gorgeous? Doesn't have a top. I don't know if it came with one or not. Here's the blue Santa that matches the red one we used. I'm going to use a little string of lights, a little moss mat. I'm going to cut this mat in somewhat of a oblong shape. I just kind of eyeballed how big I would need it to be to fit in the bottom. And I'm just going to trim it out to reach that measurement. Now when I put it in, it's going to push down underneath the little glass pieces and it will stay in place. And for now I'm going to leave it this way, but we will glue it later. Okay, nice. Now I'm going to cut the hanger off of Santa, and I also cut the little knob off where we attach him to the string, and I'm going to adjust the limbs on his Christmas tree. Put all those little ornaments or berries to the front. I love the old world look of these Santas. They're so pretty. All right, so I'm going to add a little hot glue on his feet to hold him down because there's no foam, so there's no way to attach him with pins. Stand him up back there. I want to put him sort of toward the back so I can use the back window as a support for him. And then I'm going to start putting the lights in. Now I should have put the lights in before I put Santa in, but you know, I didn't glue him in, so I'm actually going to take him out in just a minute and show you. But you want to start off by putting in your lights before you glue Santa down. So see, I can pull him and the grass and everything comes up, or the moss. Now I can go in there with my little hands and get inside of my lantern. If your hands are too big, if your lantern is too small, just have somebody help you with this part. It's very easy. All I'm doing is going around and around in a rectangular shape until I get to the top of that front window. So the window that's in front of Santa is going to be the one that has the light behind it. I'm going to add just a dot of glue on control to put it against the inside wall because we want to kind of hover it. Now my lights came from Temu. This is not a sponsored video, but I really, really love these affordable string lights because the controller is so small, you can hide it just about anywhere. It's even smaller than those cork tops. So yeah, really good thing. Now I'm going to add some glue in the bottom, tuck that moss right back down in there. Turn my light off so I don't waste my battery. And then we can start putting in some greenery in the bottom. This is not necessary, but you know me, I'm always trying to do a little more if I can. And why not? I have plenty of the greenery, may as well use it to embellish these beautiful centerpieces that can be given as gifts. So I know he needs to stick right against that wall for support. I'm just going to add some of that same clear mounting tape, just a tad, and stick it right to the glass. You won't even see it. Now Santa is very secure. So I'm going to make a swag for the top since this lantern does not have any top on it. I'm just going to make something. I'm going to trim off just a little bit of wire, and I'll take 3 of these picks that are the same as what we put on the inside floor, and I'm going to wrap these together almost in like a fan shape. Just going to wrap until they are tightly together. And then make sure that you disguise your little ends of your wire so nobody pokes their fingers and that it's not sticking out. I'll bend it so it can lay over the side of the lantern, and it will have sort of a rustic look, I think. This room is very Victorian looking to me. So I'm going to just take these pieces and just add a little bit of hot glue to cover up the original stem. So we're going in the opposite direction just to cover up the stem and the wire. I'm going to wrap that piece and glue it to the tip and just hold it in place for just a moment until it sets up. This is just all those little extra pieces of details that really give your projects that extra attention and make them look more high-end. Okay, no bald spots. All right, so now I know I like this and I like the direction, and I'm loving Santa. He is living his best life in that lantern. But I don't like the top so flat. So it's on wire, right? All we have to do is just bend it. Just flex those wires a little bit, and it'll give it just a bit of a dome on the top and give the look that I think I prefer. Now that I know it's exactly as I like it, I'll add some hot glue, and I'm using my Gorilla Glue here, and just take a couple of little areas to attach this on the sides to hold everything in place. I want to disguise this but not put glue on it, no more than we already did. So I'll just make sure that I can still get to it, but kind of camouflage it behind the branch. And this is how this one is going to look. Oh, I love him. He's so nice. Nice Santa. I hope I'm on the nice list. Are y'all on the nice list this year? I hope so. Here's our red Santa. If you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe and to hang out with us and check out all the unique, budget-friendly DIYs that we do here on this channel.